Up, thank you so much for joining in. Hey, Miss Candy Epperly, good seeing you in Arizona. Good seeing you, dear. You blessed my heart today. Oh my God, Mr. Smith, thank you so much. Miss Marie, thank you so much. Wow, Mr. Dwight Williams is on the line, ready to go. Love it, love it, love. Oh, Regional Vice President Platinum, Miss Driscoll. Wow, man, we got the leaders out today. Miss Johnson Driscoll, man, she did a fantastic job on Monday. If you didn't see it, go back to the channel and watch it at Destiny International. And go back and watch Monday. Monday was incredible. My goodness. Mr. Grossman, thank you so much for joining Miss Celia up there in Woodland, California. Thank you so much. Mr. Brian Baker, Regional Director out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Thank you, sir. Miss Dee Dee, thank you so much for joining us. Man, I'm sorry, Mr. David, thank you so much. Miss Castro, thank you for seeing you down in Phoenix there. We had just a conversation today. I got to teaching so much this morning that I kind of, time got by me real quick, so I apologize. I want to make a mad draft. But anyway, that's what life's all about, is being a blessing, a blessing. Listen, great call lined up. I kind of got into so much stuff. Wait till tomorrow morning. Oh, my God. Woo, Lord, let me contain this. Woo, thank you. Wow, you have no idea what. Well, listen. Dwight Williams is our guest speaker today. Let me shut my mouth up and get out the way. This young man, he has a vision, a worldly vision, not a vision of the United States, but a world vision of big things. A leader, and I don't use the word leader. He's a visionary. He's a visionary. Him and his lovely wife been together for, I think it's 26 years. Top of a lot of Fortune 500 companies, started his own company, self-made man, but he's also, this biggest thing he loves from his heart is helping people from all ages, nationalities, walks of life. He is just a true man of the world, if I could say that, and a dear friend. And the conversations we have are just universal. I mean, they're just, woof. And I want to thank him for taking time out of his schedule to be with us again today. He hails from the beautiful city of Houston, Texas. He's also just a man who's been in several different businesses, and his philosophies are just amazing. And what you're going to learn from him on all his conversations is just what you see is what you get. Without further ado, my dear friend, Mr. Dwight Williams from Houston, Texas. Where are you, sir? I know you're out there.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, sir.
Good. I am. Energy is everything. Mr. Thomas brings it, don't he? It's a lot of fun. Everybody good this morning? All right. Let's have some fun this morning. Lots of questions, guys. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation today. It is like Les Brown said, it is a plum pleasing pleasure, privilege to be here this morning, to spend time with people that are moving in that direction. This is a great thing. I've had people ask me all the time, what are you going to talk about today? What are you going to talk about today? You always you always have a lot of things to talk about. All of us do. When you get to a certain age, I mean, you've got enough experience and a lot of experiences. Those experiences lead you. They teach you and they give you content. So let's talk today about where we are. You've heard me say many times, I think, not aside from the challenges that we face as a society today, I think I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of individuals. I spend a lot of quality time at coffee shops. I love coffee shops. And I talk to people when there. I met an older gentleman just about an hour ago, showed up to the coffee shop, sat down, and we just started talking about cryptos and Bitcoin and so being 56 years old, I realized that this is the most phenomenal time I think this planet has ever seen. But it amazes me that there are people who see this as the worst time because it seems a little disruptive, seems a little challenging, but disruption is the key to progress, am I right? I mean, you can't make progress unless you change. Everybody says, change is necessary. We want to make change, but change actually requires change. And change is often the thing we, human nature wise, we're somewhat averse to to change. It's not natural for us to change. Take Mr. Thomas himself. He's energized. Why? Because he's reinventing. I mean, that whole process just motivates you. It inspires you, it stimulates you. It gives you new energy. It's like going outside and breaking up the ground in your garden. It adds new oxygen and energy to growth and produces new growth. Same is true in our lives. So I'm real careful how I talk about this, because I don't want to seem insensitive. But the truth is, we live in an incredible time right now. And so this is an opportunity. Life, it's almost as if life is forcing us to do the thing that we should do ourselves. It's saying, hey, it's time for a change. But I'm in a routine, I'm in a rhythm, I'm doing something. Well, it's time for you to revisit that thing, take a look at it, re-examine it, and make sure that it's the best path for you. Not necessarily the only path or an optional path, but is this the right path? Is this, as my partner and I say all the time, is this the lowest hanging fruit for us? And I was, earlier this week, I was talking to somebody about the elements. And I always talk about the elements from from the standpoint of, I told you, now you guys already know my favorite book is the Bible. That's my favorite book. That's how I make all my decisions. It hadn't failed me yet, so I stick to it. And I don't see it failing me anytime. So one of my favorite verses is the one that talks about confirmation and transformation. And I always use the scenario, and that tells us, and we're challenged by these. I always think about water and fire. I think about those two elements all the time. And one of the things I mentioned, some of you may remember, I go to juvenile and I minister at juvenile facilities, and I talk to young kids as young as 6 and 7 years old, all the way up to 17, 18-year-old. And you have to learn to present things in such a way that it connects. It makes a connection for them. So I always think about when the Bible talks about confirmation, what it really is discussing. And I always use the example of water. Water takes on the shape of any container that it's poured into. That's why when the Bible says to not conform, and then it says the world, we're talking about a set of systems. And so when you look at the world as it is now, it's being aggressively disrupted right now. So there's disruption everywhere, and it's creating unrest, uncertainty. People are reacting, some positively emotionally, some negatively emotionally. And so we have conformed so that as change comes about, that disruption makes us very uncomfortable. And we begin to become experts at practicing worry. We begin to concern ourselves, and so we begin to take, and what do we say? How I relate myself to a thing will determine the results that I get. So if I relate myself to this situation negatively, then probably I'm going to get negative results. If I see this thing positively, and I begin to realize that change is the best thing for me, because think about this, everybody that has done anything significant has done it as a result of some change, whether that change was forced on them or whether they self-inflicted that change. So what is a crisis? As we mentioned earlier, in the Chinese language, a crisis is simply a circumstance. In Chinese language, the word crisis actually translates to opportunity. So there is no word that we interpret in our English dialect as crisis as a problem. In their language, the word crisis translates to an opportunity, because the Chinese believe that anytime I'm faced with something that is beyond my sphere of understanding. It's simply an opportunity. So all a crisis is, typically to us, it's simply a circumstance that I'm facing that I did not prepare for. That's all it is. It's something that has come to, that I am facing right now that I was not prepared for. I was talking to my son just the other day, literally about 2 days ago, and we were talking about money and budgeting and his career. His career is really taken off, and now he's starting to talk about disciplines like budgeting and that kind of thing. And he says, you know, Dad, I need to understand kind of what the foundational principles. I said, well, son, let me give you a perfect example. The average person, according to statistics, over 70% of people don't invest money in their death. Now, you have to process that. That is a guaranteed event. I don't know anybody yet that's escaped it. Now, I'm working on escaping it myself personally. But I don't know anybody yet that has figured it out, but I'm probably going to be the closest thing to know. No, I'm just teasing. But my point is, it's a guaranteed event. It's something that's going to happen, and yet most people don't plan for it. Now, you would think, okay, that makes sense. But really and truthfully, if you really think about it, that is the most strategic wealth producing event that you can have in your life, if you think about it. Why? Because I can really spend a lifetime preparing the next generations for their lifetime, advancing their life in my lifetime, if I approach it correctly. So how do I avoid a crisis? I avoid a crisis by properly planning for it. And how do I plan for it? I begin to take a look at the circumstance, knowing that it can come. I learn from it, and I begin to adapt my behaviors to it. Now, what does that mean? We are now faced with a pandemic. What I'm thinking, what do I need to change? What circumstances do I find myself in right now that I need to ensure that as life begins to evolve, that I get ahead of these changes now? So that takes us to Mr. Thomas's points earlier. As Mr. Thomas begins to talk about prospecting, and the way I would think about what he's talking about is, I need to be in a career that is not marginable, meaning a computer, a robot, or any form of technology. I need to be beyond just an essential worker. I need to be thinking about these things. And so most are saying, hey man, I'm reacting. We cannot react. We have to get beyond. We have to take action, not accept an action. And so what we have to be thinking of is, okay, here's what I've learned. What is the definition of essential worker? And I need to make sure that I begin to transform my life in such a way that as these things begin to compound over time, I get beyond them and get ahead of them. So what do I need to do that? So how do I need to reinvent myself to avoid being in this place again? Because I only see the circumstances that I find myself in as, like the Chinese say, opportunities. Opportunities for what? For me to learn. So I made this statement before: every breakthrough in life is a breakthrough in what I call revelation knowledge. Knowledge that you not just hear, but it's knowledge that you understand at such a level that it produces, it convicts you to take action. So knowledge then becomes the key to progress for you. So that means every single day when you wake up, you have to go to sleep learning something that improves you for the next day. You cannot go to sleep without learning something. And so you'll ask me, let's take for instance me today. I went to the park and I ran. I was listening to a gentleman that I was recently introduced to, Michael Beckwith. Many of you may actually already be familiar with him, but I immediately started listening. He made a statement today. He defined a word for me that everybody's heard: apocalypse. Most people call apocalypse the end of the world. And he makes a statement. He says, no, but he says there's a greater definition of this word that means the lifting of the veil, which means apocalypse actually means the end of a paradigm. It is a point where people's eyes begin to be open to a certain ideal or way of thinking, and often in societies it changes your thought process. So I learned that today. I've added that to my to my toolbox, and and I really have been taking some time to be thinking about, because all of us talk about paradigm shifts and that kind of thing. So that is a piece of information that I will then begin to process, add to my toolbox, and it will begin to shape the way I think. And we have to do that every single day. We have to be thinking about, what do I not know? Not what do I know, because what I know is the reason why I am where I am today. It's what I don't know to get me to where I need to go. And so for me to go somewhere, that means I need to get new information. So why do we plug into these calls? We plug into these calls because that gentleman right there knows some stuff that we got to know. Why? Look at his life. That's all. You don't have to do anything other than that. Just observe the way he lives. And you say to yourself, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's where he is. Can I learn something? And absolutely. I tell people all the time, I'll do whatever I have to do to learn the stuff that the people that have the life that I'm looking for to have. What does that mean? Oh, no, there's no amount of money I won't spend. I'll travel. I'll put them in a hotel. I've done it. Why do you do that? Because I need to get what I'm trying to get so I can go where I want to go. And when you're desperate for progress that way, like Eric Thomas says, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then success cannot be denied. And so we cannot be scared. You cannot, my favorite book says, he says, I'm not giving you the spirit, meaning the essence of fear, meaning fear. I never gave you fear as a tool to make decisions. I gave you 3 other ways to make decisions: love, power, and intelligence, and intellect, sound mind. I gave you those 3 mechanisms for you to make decisions. Now, fear is not a problem. Fear is simply an emotion or an impulse that causes us to seek protection. It's good for that. But we don't use fear to make decisions in our life. We use love, power, and sound mind. So what we have to be careful to avoid. So in that case, that means everything we're dealing with right now is simply a source of learning. These things are happening to us to put us on a path to progress. And we have to see it that way. And so let's deal with the circumstances that we find ourselves in. And I've been talking to a lot of people. I'm dealing with some issues in my body, and I'm not sure I want to go to the hospital because, no, can't use fear. You got to think about, how do I need to deal with my health while at the same time keeping myself and the loved ones around me safe. What do I need to do? What do I need to learn? What do I need to understand? Do I need to call the hospital, find out what their protocols are, what their methods are, for me to move around in such a way that I keep everybody else safe and myself safe? That's how you need to move. But you can't, fear will paralyze you. You won't do anything. And the very thing that you feared the most, you will end up with that very result. So how do I can't pay my bills? Perfect, absolutely. How many of us, and I'm gonna say these things, not as a crutch, but we have to think, we have to think, how many of us file for unemployment? Now, watch this. Most people, what is he talking about? Unemployment. I'm gonna tell you something. These corporations, Fortune 1000 companies, every dollar of stimulus money that they had access to, that they could legally file for, they're filing for. and they're getting that money. Now you would say, the first one that made me laugh was Harvard University got $9 million. They got a check for 8.75 or $8.9 million. And I laughed. What most people don't realize, they have a $4.3 billion endowment, which an endowment is just money sitting in their account. Now, most people say that's wrong for them to do that. No, the rules say I am eligible for those dollars. Now, if I'm not eligible, I shouldn't get them. But if the rules say I am eligible, then I need to get it. And we have to be using. So when I get a mother that says, hey, I need to have you filed for all of the things that are available to you. Have you filed for the unemployment? Have you filed for the stimulus money? Have you, and then what are you going to do with that? Are you going to spend it all? Or are you going to invest a portion of it looking into your future? What does that mean, invest? Are you going to hire a recruiter or put somebody looking for a new opportunity? Put yourself in a class. Do these things. Why? Because all I find myself in right now is an opportunity to reinvent myself. And I believe that every resource I'm going to need to do that are available to me. I just got to shut down the things that paralyze me from moving forward. I got to put on blinders, and I just got to keep moving forward and trust that every step I take, every resource I need will meet me at that step. Well, I need to see the resource before I take the step. You'll never get there then. If you have to see the money in the bank before you make the move, you'll never create wealth. Absolutely not. It is not chicken and egg in this situation. It is not. It is you making the step first, believing that everything you need is going to meet you when you get there. If you don't do it that way, you got to understand, what is greatness? Greatness is a life that lives beyond the boundaries of your understanding. That's all it is. You can't be great within the circumference of your understanding. So greatness is that I get beyond what I understand and still take action. So what does that force me to do? You can't have doubt. You can't have fear. You can't have disbelief. You got to shed those things. You shed anxiety. You shed hate, and you shed all of these emotions that paralyze us. And you put on courage and boldness and risk. You put on all those things, and those things lead you to the destiny that you're looking for. I promise you, I'm telling you, if you find yourself in a situation that is both safe and comfortable, you need to do everything you possibly can to get out of that situation. Do whatever you have to disrupt your world. Don't wait for coronavirus or anything else to create chaos in your world. Start doing it yourself. Wake up in the morning and say, hey, what do I need to change? You know what? I want to put a new room over here. I'm going to knock out this wall. And I'm going to start dealing. And I'm talking about in my life. What am I doing? I'm reinventing myself. I'm expanding who I am. Mr. Thomas is talking about, and so now let's bring it in closer. Mr. Thomas has lived a life of freedom because of the path he's chosen. There's no energy. You can't imagine. There's no energy like the energy you get from walking into a conference room and closing a deal for your company. Not for a company, but for your company. You do that enough times, you can't do it for anybody else anymore. I mentioned this a few times. I started my career at 19 years old, and I was very, very blessed to end up in a Fortune 1000 company just by happenstance. I'm gonna just tell you, it's just the grace of God. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I ended up, amazingly so, working for a vice president of that corporation. And we ended up, we did I did really, really well for a number of years. And so I was an employee at that company. Then I went to work for one of the vendors that I hired. I went to work for an oil and gas company for a short stint. And then I went to work for a vendor that I had hired, and it was a consulting firm. And I was exposed to a world of high rates and really a different lifestyle, something I had never seen before. And I went from there, I left that company and became an independent contractor. And from an independent contractor, I started my first firm in the 90s. And I haven't worked for anybody since, matter of fact, 89, 90 is when I started my first company. And I haven't worked for anybody since then. Now, here's the interesting thing about all of that. I've been an employee. I've been a high paid employee. I've been an independent contractor. I've been a contractor. I've been a business owner. Multi-million-dollar business. Nothing matches this industry. Now, let me explain why. And it ties back to freedom and disruption. I constantly look for a way. When I was an employee, I was always thinking about, where is this, where I want to be, and can I create here what I see, my vision? Can I fulfill my vision here? And when I worked for MCI, I did really well, moved up. The people I dealt with were the CEOs, CFOs, COOs of Fortune 1000 companies, to Exxon, Texaco. Those were the people that a kid was dealing with, but it wasn't big enough. I didn't have enough control over what I was doing. And so I left there and I went to another company. And here's an interesting conversation. At the next company was a spinoff from Arthur Andersen. I remember this conversation. I met with this guy, and I went to him for a 6-figure salary. I'll just say that number. And he told me, "Nah, I can't do that. I have a management grid, and certain levels get paid certain things." I'm like, management grid, certain levels get paid certain things. And so he and I was employee number 7 at this company. And this company had grown to hundreds of employees. And so I asked him, but I make $2 million a year by myself. Those managers, do they make that? And he was like, no, but see, it's a grid. No. Now, you got to understand, this is my conversation with the CEO. Then why are you getting paid what you're getting paid? And I'm getting paid what I'm getting paid. And he says to me, "Oh, no. Here's how this works. See, you pay me for the security of your paycheck, so your check, your check comes every 2 weeks." Oh, I told him point blank, "Oh, I don't need that anymore." You won't have to do that for me, not one more day. And I resigned on the spot. Here's the interesting thing. He called me that Saturday. I'll never forget. I may have told this story once already. My wife and I were in the kitchen. My phone rang. She said, "Dwight, it's Steve." I answered the phone. He made me the offer. Then he tells me, he says, "Not only am I going to give you the number that you asked for, I'm going to give you 3 months off, a year. And during those 3 months, now watch what he's asking me. I want you to go bird dog new deals for me." What do you plan on paying me for that? Because these are separate. And so you begin to realize what this career Mr. Thomas is talking about, that you guys find yourself in right now, is the greatest career on this planet. It's the one career that can never be replaced. No robot will ever take this. No AI will ever take this career. And it is unlimited. I can write myself whatever ticket I want in a career like this. Now, I say not trying to convince anybody to do anything, and I mean that genuinely. I really do. You really have to choose. But I'm telling you, the freedom that I have lived, and so I went that journey looking for a career where the relationship, so I went from there, I'll tell you the rest. I went from there to being a contractor, to hiring people. I would tell my secretary, "Hey, if you keep working for me and I don't make you better, forget the paycheck. if I don't make you better, you need to quit. Because I knew what it felt like to be an employee. And I didn't want that relationship with the people that work for me. But over time, I understood the relationship in a corporation and its employees. And I couldn't figure out how to fix it. I couldn't figure out how to balance the relationship between me being now I'm the employer. They were now working for me. So I'm trying to figure out a way how to create this mutual connection or relationship between the person that is, I hate this word, boss, and the person that works for them. And then I found network marketing. Network marketing is by far, as I forget his name, it is the last, he says it's the last bastion of, I forget his name, but it is the truth. Network marketing fixes all of that, because I can have a team that works, that nobody ever works for anybody. We work together. And if you decide to outwork me, then your compensation is commensurate to your effort. You will not find that in any other organization. And I'm not suggesting I've done it all, but I'm telling you, the ones that I have done it, it doesn't exist. And even when I was the company owner, I couldn't figure out how to put that together. Because as long as I'm paying you and I'm the one in charge, independent of my own production, my production is simply because I hired you, then I don't have a need to perform because I'm in that position. But in network marketing, my placement in that hierarchy, and believe you me, all these organizations are hierarchies, I assure you. I tell people all the time, think your church is not a hierarchy. Come Sunday morning, go up in the pulpit and just tell your pastor you're going to be preaching and collecting that day and see how that works out for you. It's not going to work out that great, I promise. So all of these organizations, I assure you, they are all hierarchies. And there is people at different layers and levels in that organization. So the pyramid thing is the craziest conversation. For the most part, I used to have the pyramid conversation. I don't even have it anymore. If I'm talking to a person that's talking to me about pyramids, I don't even consider that person. I don't even talk to them about becoming a customer. Why? Mindset is in the wrong place. I don't have the time to invest. But Dwight, that's not fair. Oh, it is fair. 7 billion people on this planet. I ain't got enough time. I'm not gonna get to a fraction of a fraction of a fraction, let alone to be spending time with somebody that ain't trying to do it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be running and meeting people. Why? Because I tell people who are in a relationship with a person, I say any amount of time that I spend in a negative relationship is time taken away from a positive relationship. I am not gonna waste that kind of time. And so the moment I see this thing is not going in the right way, it's time to go. It's time to cut. And so for you to be having a conversation, and so most people say, yeah, and I'll tell them about their job, and you're trying to, I'm not gonna do that. No, absolutely not. So Dwight, when do you talk to them? When they pick up the phone and call me and say, dude, are you still doing that thing? Man, I've been calling you. This is my 6th call. I need to talk to you. Now you're ready to talk to me. Other than that, we're not gonna be talking. So, and that's you gotta know that's who you are, because the posture that you take when you deal with people will determine how they deal with you. If you want to sign up everybody, they're gonna know it. You ain't gotta sign up everybody. You only gotta sign up 12 good people. Got Jesus Christ, he could have signed everybody up. If you think you're gonna outperform Jesus, he's the greatest leader ever the planet has ever seen. And if Jesus couldn't do it, I'm not going to try to top him. And so, and those 12 that he picked, the Bible says they turn the world upside down. And so that's what our focus needs to be. Why? Find the few people that are connected to you. They're looking for you. And so Mr. Thomas is talking about prospecting. That's the key. And do it fast. I don't know everything he's gonna say, but I watched him for a long time. Mr. Thomas ain't gonna waste a whole lot of time talking to me. He's just not gonna do it because he knows who he is. But here's the key. Yes, he has the experience, he has the background, but every single one of you are the same. And you can see yourself the exact same way. If you don't see yourself to where you and your time is valuable, you'll allow people to waste your time. But when you begin to see your time and your person as valuable, your posture will change and people will handle you differently. You won't waste time with people. Because you are. And so often the things we deal with and the people that we're surrounded by are the people we've allowed inside our world. We need to stop allowing everybody in our world. I preached this for a long time. I'm not recruiting everybody. They're like, Dwight, you're not going to recruit? Absolutely not. I don't chase everybody. I do not. I'm looking for the best people. And the guy chasing everybody will not get there. I remember a gentleman, I was about to say, I remember a gentleman, he says, if you raise your bar, you'll begin to attract the people at that level. However high you raise your bar will determine who you attract. And so I just started raising my bar. I don't participate in a lot of frivolous conversations. I just don't. And I don't spend my time. If I watch a show on television, it's one that's demonstrating something that I can learn from. If I'm not learning, I ain't watching it. I'm constantly looking to try, and it's just a natural thing now. I'm only attracted to things that make me better. I really am. I need to die knowing. I need to die knowing I did everything I could to become the best person that I could be. And I was gonna say the best version of myself. My daughter told me, Dad, I'm not sure there are versions of you. So stop using the word version. But I just, and that's knowledge. And so today, gaining that piece of information about apocalypse, I've made progress today. I need to do that again tomorrow. I need to finish today, learning more today. And I do constantly. I was up late last night studying options trading. And so why? Hey man, I'd be nuts to be doing why? When this all settles, I told my wife, I said, babe, here's where we're gonna be. I know you like to sleep in, so I'm gonna do that. I don't like to sleep in, I get up early. So I wanna get on the yacht, go out into the middle of the bay, turn on all my terminals, have a marketing team, have my trading team, have my first meeting with one group, my second meeting with one group, and by noon, you'll be up, we'll go have lunch, and we'll hang out for the rest of the day. I'll do meetings in the evenings, and we'll be done. And that's really, I will be honest with you, I want to live that way. And for you to live that way, you just have to imagine it and then put a plan together to go make it happen. We are beings that were created with the power and ability to live whatever life we chose. If you are not living that life, it is your fault. And now I'm not going to stop there. You're accountable in this moment that you know that to make a decision. You've got to make a decision because I'm bringing it to you now. And because it's coming to you now, it's making you accountable. So if you're not living the life that you want to live, you've got to now make a decision to make the changes necessary to change your life. Because you've been given all the tools and resources necessary to do it. The only person, you've heard me tell the story about the tree. I'm not sure. I'll always take people out and I'll say, see those two trees? What is the difference between the two trees? And they said, no. I says, and I describe this word, I know, am I running out of time? All you gotta do is tell me if I'm okay. I grew up, I told you I grew up in the church, and there's a word we use, worship. And so I'll talk to people and I'll say, what is worship? And they'll say, oh, worship. And I'll let them know worship is not don't get me wrong, worship is the expression, you know, to God. But worship is us becoming what we were created to be, the full expression of our creation. So when I look at the tree, even though those two trees are not the same size, the difference, how do I know that they are full worship? Because they don't have free will. They don't have the ability to choose not to become what they were designed to be. We are the only creature that has the ability to not be what we were created to be. Worship is simply us becoming and the full expression of what we were created to be. That's all it is. It's for me doing whatever I have to do to become that. And so my challenge to you today is that if you are not, if you know if you are or if you are not, whatever you have to do to become the full expression of what you were created, it's on you now to get that done. Because the world's missing it. Each one of you have a gift we need to see. That's why think about Mr. Thomas, think about the beauty. How many of you would love to to have freedom in such a way that you were able to pour yourself in and have the results of people's successes be the definition of who you were? It doesn't get any better than that. I'm telling you. And so to watch him and to see, I'm looking at what, 64 people on. That's a big deal. People say, how does one man change the world? One mind at a time. That's how it's done. Any questions, any comments, any thoughts? Because I can talk forever. You know? So sometimes I got to take a break.
Mr. Williams, that's powerful. I love it. You know, I love the idea that water takes on any shape you pour it into. Folks, he's pouring into your lives today. He's pouring into you. What shape, Lord have mercy. What shape are you allowing this water or the word that he's pouring into you going to shape up your life today? Powerful. And also, you've been given all the tools. What did he say? You've been given all, not some, not most, a few, a quarter, a third. He says you've been given ALL, in parentheses, all the tools necessary. All the tools necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know, my cup is overrunning right now. I want to thank you, Mr. Dwight Williams, for just another display. And I love the idea there's 7 billion people on this earth, and we're wasting our time with the same old knuckleheads when we should go through the numbers faster and quicker. I love that. I love that. Folks, tonight at 6:00 p.m., I'm going to do the 1 through 10 tonight. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'm going to, Lord have, bring a seatbelt, because tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'm going to go into some deep, oh my goodness. I'm ready to take off like a rocket ship right now. However, I was trying to contain myself because I was fired up earlier. Can we show Mr. Dwight Williams some love right now? Come on, family, come on, let's go. Come on, let's show how much we appreciate him. Let me flip through here. Come on, there you go, Mr. Lewis. Thank you so much. Man, you guys got some good stuff today. You know, the Bible says, don't just be hearers of the word, but be what? Doers. Take this information and run with it. Take it 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 and run with it. So I want to thank you, sir, for another dynamite talk. I got page of notes of it. I hope you guys got a blessing out of today's call. The elements. Whoo, Lord have mercy. And with that said, get out there, go do something in your business. Those that are on leadership on Saturday night, we're going to start off with you tomorrow morning, and we got a whole lot to cover. But I want to thank Mr. Dwight Williams for another philosophical look and hear from the top down. And he said something last time he was with us that was so profound. He said this. Number 2 thing I wrote on my list was, don't miss the opportunity in ACN. Man, that was powerful for me. Folks, we want to thank you, sir, for being who you are. We want to thank you for sharing a little bit of your daily mode of operation this morning and spend the rest of the day with your lovely. That is so powerful. And that's something money can't buy. People don't understand wealth is not money. Wealth is having a lifestyle. Wealth could be health. Wealth could be blessing other people. That is what wealth is described at, not money. So, folks, we're going to thank all of you on the call today. Take care. God bless. And I challenge you to come back tonight with some guests tonight at 6 and tomorrow morning. Almost says, bring a seatbelt. God bless you all. Thank you, Mr. Williams, sir. Thank you so much. God bless everybody. Have a wonderful ACN day. Thank you, sir. God bless everybody. See everybody tonight and tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you.